It's 2 in the morning. You're asleep. The house is quiet. The lights are off. And your cat is gone from the spot where he was curled up when you closed your eyes. Not gone from the house. Gone from the place where you last saw him. And what he's doing right now, in the dark in every room, is nothing like what you'd expect from an animal you think you know completely. Stay until the end. Because the last thing I'm going to show you changes the way you understand what your cat actually is to you, and it's something almost no one talks about. Welcome. Tonight we're going into the part of your cat's life that happens after you fall asleep. The part that runs on instincts older than domestication, inside the same house where you left him. We're going to cover 3 things. Where he goes and why. What his brain does during those hours. And what he's doing when he's sitting completely still, staring at you in the dark. Let's start with the first thing that happens the moment your breathing slows down and your body stops moving. Your cat knows you're asleep before you do. Not metaphorically. Researchers at the University of Tokyo found that cats track their owners' respiratory patterns and micromovements with enough precision to distinguish light sleep from deep sleep, and adjust their own behavior accordingly. When you cross into deep sleep, your cat registers it. And something shifts. The house, your house, becomes a different place to him. His place. For the next several hours. Here's what that looks like. Within 15 to 20 minutes of you falling asleep, most cats begin what behavioral scientists call a territorial reassessment circuit. A slow, deliberate walk through every room. Not wandering. Not boredom. A systematic scan. He moves along the walls, not through the middle of the room. He checks the same points in the same order, the front door, the windows, the back entrance, the perimeter. Every night. In the same sequence. Researchers who've placed infrared cameras inside homes have documented this pattern repeating with near-identical routing across multiple nights. The same cat, the same path, the same stops. Your cat has a nightly security protocol. And he runs it while you sleep. He's not checking for intruders the way a guard dog might. He's registering changes. Anything that wasn't there yesterday. A scent that moved. A window left open a crack. An object shifted by 2 inches. His spatial memory is precise enough to notice. A 2019 study published in Animal Cognition showed that cats maintain a mental map of their environment with the same accuracy as animals 3 to 5 times their brain size. They track object permanence, where things are, where things were, and when something has changed. What that means in your house. When you rearranged the furniture last month and your cat spent 40 minutes investigating, that wasn't curiosity. That was an update. He was rewriting the map. And you are on that map. Your bedroom. Your specific position in bed. The sound of your breathing. The smell of your skin at rest. He has catalogued all of it. But here's where the reassessment circuit becomes something harder to explain. When the circuit is done, when every room has been checked, every point confirmed, your cat returns. To you. To your bedroom. And he settles nearby. Not always on the bed. Sometimes on the floor beside it. Sometimes in the doorway. Sometimes in a position where he can see both you and the entrance to the room simultaneously. That specific positioning is not accidental. Now let's talk about what his brain does for the rest of the night. Because this is where things get genuinely strange. Your cat sleeps up to 16 hours a day. You've probably seen him sleep so deeply he barely responds to sound. But that deep sleep, true deep sleep, accounts for only about 25% of his total rest time. The rest is something in between. A state called paradoxical sleep, or in cats, what veterinary researchers have started calling active vigilance rest. His body is still. His eyes are closed or half open. But his brain is running. EEG studies of sleeping cats show brain activity during these rest phases that looks almost identical to waking alertness. The auditory cortex remains fully active. Sounds you can't hear, movements below the threshold of human perception, are being processed in real time. In practical terms, this means your cat is never fully unconscious while you sleep. There is always a part of his brain listening. For the sound of a window shifting. For a footstep that doesn't match yours. For anything that breaks the pattern of the house at rest. Researchers call it sentinel behavior, a deep evolutionary holdover from when cats were both predator and prey. The body rests. The system stays online. And here's the part that's difficult to sit with once you know it. This sentinel behavior is not directed randomly. Studies show it is preferentially oriented toward the owner's sleep location. He is, in a measurable neurological sense, monitoring you. Not protecting you the way we romanticize it. Doing something more specific, tracking the soundscape of your sleep, registering your breathing pattern, and flagging any deviation from baseline. If you cough differently than usual. If your sleep becomes restless. If your breathing changes. There are documented cases in veterinary literature of cats waking owners before seizures, hypoglycemic episodes, and in at least one published account, a carbon monoxide leak. They weren't trained to do this. They were simply paying attention, in the way they always pay attention, to the specific human they had decided mattered. Now I want to show you the third thing. The one most people find the most unsettling when they first understand it. You've probably woken up at 2 or 3 in the morning with a distinct feeling of being watched. You open your eyes and your cat is sitting completely still in the dark, staring directly at you. Most people assume the cat wants something. Food. Water. Attention. And sometimes that's true. But research into feline nocturnal behavior suggests something more structured is happening in many of those moments. Cats have a specific behavior called social sleeping watch, documented in studies of multi-cat households and extended to owner relationships. When one trusted individual is at their most vulnerable, another will enter a state of alert proximity. Still. Watchful. Present. It's not waiting. It's not boredom. The body posture is specific. Weight forward, ears oriented toward you, pupils dilated not from fear but from low-light focus. That is an animal in active watch mode. And you are what he's watching. The discomfort most people feel when they realize this, the slight strangeness of being observed while sleeping by something that shares your home, is worth sitting with. Because it reveals an assumption almost everyone makes about their cat. The assumption is that the relationship is mostly one-directional. That you care for him. That you observe him. That you've decided he matters to you. And that on his side, the attachment is pleasant but shallow. The behavioral evidence doesn't support that. Cats lack the social drive of pack animals. They didn't evolve to need other creatures for survival. When a cat develops the kind of proximity behavior we're describing, the return after the circuit, the sentinel rest, the watch, it's a choice made in the absence of biological requirement. That's the part that takes a moment. He doesn't need to do this. There's no instinct compelling him to monitor your sleep specifically. He does it because, in whatever way a cat processes attachment, you're the thing in this territory that matters most. And he's been doing it every night, since he decided you were worth watching over. Let's bring this back to right now. Tonight, after you finish this and turn off the light and your breathing finally slows, he's going to feel the shift. He's going to get up. He's going to walk the perimeter of your home in the dark. He's going to check every entrance. Every point on his map. Every change since yesterday. And when he's done, he's going to come back to wherever you are. And he's going to settle somewhere close enough to hear you breathe. Not because he was told to. Not because he was trained to. Because sometime in the months or years since you brought him home, he made a decision about you. And the decision is still active. Every single night. The house you think goes quiet when you fall asleep doesn't go quiet at all. It goes operational. Under the management of an animal running systems you never knew were running, systems that have been oriented toward you this entire time. So when you wake up and he's there, on the edge of the bed on the floor in the doorway, and you assume he's just being a cat, just existing in the way cats exist, I want you to remember what we covered tonight. That position he's in. That specific spot he chose. He didn't end up there randomly. He returned there after the circuit. After the scan. After hours of rest that wasn't quite rest. He came back to you because that's where his watch is. You've been sharing a house with something that monitors your sleep, maps your home every night, and chooses, in the absence of any evolutionary pressure to do so, to stay close to you in the dark. You just didn't know the full picture until now. One more thing. The relationship between cats and humans is the only domestication in recorded history where the animal chose the arrangement. Dogs were bred into it. Cats walked in on their own, thousands of years ago, and stayed because they decided to. That cat in your house, your specific cat, is the continuation of that choice. Every night he runs the circuit and comes back to your room, he's making it again. Not out of habit. Not out of need. Out of something that behavioral science calls affiliation, and that you're allowed to call whatever feels true to you. The science doesn't contradict what you feel when he settles beside you in the dark. It just explains the machinery underneath it. And that machinery has been running for you, quietly, every night, without you ever having to ask. Tell me in the comments, have you ever woken up and found your cat watching you sleep, and felt like he'd been there for a while? I read every one. See you next time.